I'm not gonna record. Intro. Yeah, that'll work. Fuck. Where is my marker? Don't mind the time. There it is. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, extraterrestrials, and welcome to the video. Today we will be discussing counterclockwise. Why is it called that, and why? So yeah, hope you like the video. Or don't dislike it. I doesn't really affect me. But yeah, hope you do like it though. And on to me discussing everything. I had to. This is after all that, as you can tell, probably by my time. Have fun, I guess. It's started. Okay. Where do I start? Right. What does words? Shit, that's stupid. Okay, I guess I'm going with that. Why is it called counterclockwise? Let me just write that up on the board. I think this one. Now, you know, this seemed a lot better in my head. I guess I won't do that. Use this instead. Okay. Counterclock. Okay, counterclockwise. Now you might be wondering, yeah, I know what the hell counterclockwise is. It's middle school stuff right there. It's, you know, the reverse direction of which a clock, so that looks like this. For all you children who can't read clocks, you know, the classic circle clock. Clocks travel that way. So then, counterclockwise, of course. Yeah, there. Means a clock travels this way instead. You know, if you studied that. Pretty sure they stopped teaching you how to read clocks in school. I got lucky. Fuck. So, now that we know what it means, why is it called that? Think of it. The word counter and the word clockwise. How did those become words in our English dictionary? Let's start with counter. It's simple. And the best way to explain why this is called this is my favorite thing in the whole world. Flowcharts. Great. Best way I could explain this, but counter. You know what a counter is, right? You if you've been to a store, you know what a counter is. So why is it used there? Because clockwise implies it's going that way, but counterclockwise implies it's going that way. So why does counter mean reverse in this word? Or in this... Is it a word? It's a compound. So, why is it called counter? Counter is like a desk. Why is it called that? Well, you see, I figured out the answer. Banks. Shit. First part is banks. Counter. What does counter mean? Well, you see, it came from, can you guess it? A counter. Okay, here, let me just put it out here. C-O-U-N-T. Count. It's a person who counts. Congratulations, you know what a counter is. I'm lying. So, why is a table called a counter when obviously that means somebody who counts? Well, you see, banks. What do I mean by that? So, a banker, somebody who's at a front table at a bank, those would be called counters. What does count mean, you might wonder? Where did that originate? Well, first let's finish what I was just saying. But, a counter. They count. And I'm guessing over time, counter, the person who manages the desk, and a desk, the desk that they work on, kind of got, merged into one saying until you now refer to the desk as a counter, and now to differentiate that, they refer it to the desk they work, or the person, as a banker, or whatever you want to call them. But why is it called count? Where'd the word count come from? It means compute. It came from freaking I think it was Latin. It was Latin, right? Hold on. Alright, just checked. I was right. It's Latin. The Greeks. Shit. But yeah, for now my hands aren't working, so don't ask. But they will come back. Hopefully. So, how did we get from compute to counter to counter to counter? That's the story, isn't it? And why does counter mean reverse? Specifically in counterclockwise. Well, guess what? It doesn't. This... Oh, my hands connect. Perfect. This is counter. As a desk, counter. But this isn't counter. You see, it's actually a different... Counterclockwise is actually a different word. Can you guess what it is? It is counter. Now, you might be wondering, you just said the same word twice. And you'd be correct. I literally, yeah, I did say the same word twice. But I didn't. And here's why. Counter. You see all this? Now you know that count literally means compute in Latin, and counts the person who counts is now a counter, like, one of those things. But that's incorrect. I have just fed you lies. What you should be worrying about is a completely different word. Oh. There it goes. We just, always gotta love to erase everything. So yeah, we've been getting caught up on the wrong thing. I should get like a crease on or something. Anyways, so this is what counter really is in this situation. Because counter also had another origin besides this one. You might be wondering to yourself, why? Wait, see. I'll explain that in a minute. But anyways, this counter came from another word. It came from the Latin word, contrae, or, prefix contrae, like contrary to your belief, the opposite of your belief, contrae. So you might be wondering, how did contrae and computer become the same word? Well, you see, I think it's pretty simple. Computer, to compute, or no, compute. Did I say computer? Anyways, compute became count over time, of course, with English translations, slowly English evolved into count. And so a counter, the person, is a counter. I just explained all this. But contrae, I think it's much more simple. They just reversed the E and the R. Yeah, I think that's about it. But then you might be wondering, oh, also they added a U. But I think you might be wondering, why? Why did they do this? Well, you see, English, whenever you spell it as modern English, as we know it today, speaking English, it wasn't like that back then. Back then, you had to learn 2 different languages, basically, if you wanted to write. You had to write in more Old English instead of modern speaking English. This means that over time, the word count, contrae, and counter, start over time, with different people learning it, not being able to write or read. Eventually, I'm betting over time it became counter. So, somewhere along that, we decided to change the dictionary to fit more modern English, more speaking English. Like aluminum and stuff like that. How we spell it today versus back then. Or a bunch of other words. Like, did you know I used to be ick? The word I, referring to me, used to be ick. Instead of I'm, you'd say ickum. Spelled ick, and then E-O. Fuck. Don't mind that. M. Why must you fail me so often? Kids, if you ever get a whiteboard, make sure it's not in vrchat. There we go. How? Okay, I think there might be a flaw in this design, but anyways, it used to be spelled like this: ICEOM. I'm used to be Icum. So, I'm betting, just like that, over time, they start to shorten words, like how we're doing it now, like the becoming duh. Mostly from VE, which is African American Vernacular English, which basically is habitual. So I'm guessing it probably, with words slowly getting more simple, like you all, and now, probably transforming to y'all, or maybe here's actually a better example: goodbye. It used to mean God be with you. I was going to write that, but I suck at writing. So, as you can tell, over time, contrae starts to turn to counter, and then computer starts to turn to counter. Compute probably being around a lot more. But why do we put both definitions under the same word, and why is it spelled the exact same? Well, like most words, a lot of words sound similar. Like two and two, there, and there. A lot of words sound similar. So I'm betting to make things simpler, they just merged the two and just gave them two different definitions. So I don't know why they didn't do that with the other words in the English language, but I'm guessing there might have been some contradictions somewhere in there. But that doesn't matter. What matters is contrae now used. Counter used to be contrae. So now that we know where counter used to come from, let me just erase this, and this, and this. Now we need to understand what does clockwise mean? Okay, so I hope I have some editing skills so I can put a transition there, but clockwise, why is that still there? Clockwise. There you are. I should probably move that. Alright, you got off censored. Or, for me, you got off censored. But anyways, clockwise. Where did it come from? Well, it's clockwise. But what's it called that? You see, clock, that I'm going to start with this. Clock came from the word, believe it or not, bell. Like the ding, this little thing. It's like a drawing of the ear. But yeah, that. Clock used to mean bell. Or, they basically mean the same thing, just over time, that became the word for that. I'm betting, now that I think about it, bells used to be the thing to tell time. Especially, that's actually why bell towers were around. And so schedules. A bell would ring for, it's like, actually, school bells. If you have, to go to multiple classes, you have a bell to signify which class to go to during the day. They also, back in ye olden days, bells, like church bells, used to signify when you'd go to church, when you'd lunch break, like lunchtime. It made things a lot simpler. But then, a new invention came around. Can you guess it? It's been on screen the entire time. It's a clock. It's a clock. So, yeah, that's why it's called clockwise. Yeah, that's why it's called clockwise. But why is it called clockwise? Why is there Y's in there? Well, you see, this isn't where this flowchart should begin. You see, the flowchart should begin. I'm going to leave the bell there. With a different word. It should start with sunwise. You might be wondering, sunwise, what's that? What the hell is that? Well, you see, it's basically clockwise, but instead of clocks, it's that big beautiful ball you see outside. The one where if you stare at it for too long, do not stare at it. Trust me, you will not like it. Maybe, well, masochism aside, sunwise used to be the way to basically say clockwise. So basically, I guess in sentence you'd say, hey, what time is it? Sunwise, I'd say it's about, time for you to get a watch. How's a watch? Anyways, so, sunwise basically meant clockwise, but with the sun. So now that we got that covered, we finished why clockwise is called clockwise. I'm joking, I do that all the time. Why is there Y's behind it? That's where things get a bit interesting. So, wise actually means direct. Don't mind that. Can you see that? Oh, I can't. Alright. It basically bounced off the screen. You can't see it from that angle. But, so, wise used to mean direct. Sun, I haven't researched that, but I'm betting it's like soul or something. You know, it's the sun. I'm guessing soul, you know, like solar. Eventually, over time, it became the word sun. Soul, sun, you know, it has a vowel. So, I'm guessing. But yeah, wise used to mean direct. Why is it called direct? Well, I think I might know why. So direct also has another word. You know, it's like, direct means exact. So, what do you call it whenever you want to go into a, an exact place? Or, you know, a exact direction. Ha ha ha. Let's start it over here because, you know, I'm kind of running out of room on that side. That's a wall. Direction. Direction. Yeah, direction. You know, if direction and direct both mean the same thing, you know what's a longer form of wise? Wisdom. Anyways, whenever people say follow a person's wisdom, it's basically saying follow somebody's direction. You know, like their path in life. Follow their path. Follow their direction. So follow their wisdom. I'm guessing through terms, you know how wisdom no longer means direction. it's used so it isn't, at least not how we see it today. Wisdom is usually seen today, of course, in like street smarts. D&D, it basically means street smarts. Your what you know on the field, what you learned on the field that school probably wouldn't teach you. That's wisdom. Because they learned it through the path in their life. Their direction. But eventually, wisdom stops following the word rules of direction, and so to more comply with that, we came up with direction, or with the word direct. So sunwise, if you're going by the word wise's, like wisdom, and wise basically means, is basically the shortened term of wisdom, then that means sunwise just means the sun's direction. The direction of the sun. So but you might be wondering now, where did clockwise come from then, if that's sunwise? Well, you see, as clocks became more commonplace in society, because the last time, clocks weren't really that popular. In fact, during World War II, every person in the military was offered a standard issue clock. They didn't make enough of those because why? They were expensive and used clockwork instead of electricity. So they still weren't that commonplace. But that doesn't matter for now. That's just a neat little history lesson. Clockwise, as they became clocks, these little dilly-dallies or digital clocks, as clocks became more commonplace in society, we replaced the word sun entirely with the word, clock. So sunwise is now dead, and now it's clockwise. Very simple. And that's why it means counterclockwise. So I'm going to put it in long terms now that I've said everything. Remember what counter means? Okay, I'm going to now speak in Latin for you. There you go. Nice weather we're having, huh? 2 hurricanes, who could miss it? Also, I live in Texas, so I don't have to worry about that. So, oh shit. So, counterclockwise basically literally just means what was it? Oh yeah, so basically counterclockwise, if you put in the most literal terms of definition, and also like English translation, or actually, this would be a perfect way to describe, modern translations of old literature. I never thought about that. I should make a video on that. I'm not going to do that, probably, because this was too much work already, but, counterclockwise basically means contrary I'm not going to spell check any of this, by the way. Contrary. See, clock, since it's derived from the word bell, it's now its own word, I guess I should just, bell and clock basically are just to tell away, time. I'm just going to write timepiece. And then wise, from wisdom, direction. So basically, counterclockwise literally just means contrary timepiece direction. Now, you can inflate the word count of your essay by about a couple letters. I should make a better flowchart for video. I should also probably mention a couple things before I end the video. You can leave now, skip later, or whatever. I don't care. But this is just a neat little thing. Or actually, I might put this at the beginning of the video. If I am, don't mind this. It's a teaser. If not, cut that out. So anyways, so I just want to thank the two YouTubers who inspired me to make this video. They are the Fat Electrician and Mini Minuteman. They inspired me to make this video. In fact, Mini Minuteman, if you ever watched any of his videos, I quite literally stole his format. Chalkboard, talking to a camera, ADHD nonsense. So, thank you to both of those, and subscribe. But I don't care, honestly. I just want to rant. So if you listen to this rant, thank you. This was more of a passion project. If you didn't, I'm going to find you. That's a joke. Bye bye. I guess I don't know. I should probably. Should I get an outro? Nah. Ooh. Yeah, okay. I don't remember. So